Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. It's been a while since we've talked about the battery cathode plant and its importance for battery manufacturing here at Giga Texas. Tesla just released this short video clip. I thought I would play it as it gives a lot of context into what is going on inside this building.
Tesla's cathode plant is the first and only one of its kind in North America.
Cathode is the lifeblood of an electric vehicle. Most of the performance in the cell really comes from the high nickel-rich chemistry in our cathode material that really enables us to maximize energy density and extend the range of our vehicles.
Tesla has done a really outstanding job in terms of being efficient in both how we do things and also what we do. We plan to be 74% more efficient on a greenhouse gas basis compared to our tier 1 suppliers.
Our cathode process starts by mixing precursor, which is composed of nickel, manganese, and cobalt, as well as lithium hydroxide.
We then densify our raw material before we send it through the kiln. It's then processed to remove magnetic impurities to produce our final cathode active material.
This ensures energy independence both for Tesla and the United States for generations to come.
Well, it's great to see some inside views and other information about what's going on inside the battery cathode plant, the linkages to the lithium plant at Robstown, and how important all of this is for battery manufacturing here at Giga Texas. Now, switching gears to Cybercab, Tesla has announced a major event coming up, and this is something we've been looking forward to for a long time. On the 3rd of September, here at the factory, Tesla will be hosting the launch event for the Cybercab. This has invitations already going out to a lot of people, social media, investors, supporters, and many others. This will have the opportunity for us to see a lot more about the Cybercab and officially launch it and put it into the robotaxi service, which I expect to see coming online in Austin around the same time. We also will probably get a chance to go out to the track to see maybe some of the testing, possibly a view of the production line. I know that Tesla has wanted to do that in a more public way. And of course, with everybody in attendance, we'll hear a lot more about what is going on. And hopefully they will have that live stream so that people who can't be at the actual event will be able to see what was going on. So this is, again, a long time in coming. A lot of hard work has taken place to get us to this point, and I'm looking forward to hearing more. So with that, let's get in the drone, fly around, see what Giga Texas looks like today on the site. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from Giga Texas. It is another hot morning, but it's also got really great visibility. So I thought I would start today a little bit higher altitude on this east side and give us a bird's eye view of the foundation for the joint venture SpaceX Tesla Advanced Technology Chip Fab. And this great perspective shows you the size and shape of the foundation and all of the kind of really heavily reinforced footings that they are building along the perimeter of the building, and also down the center spine with that kind of thin rectangular excavation with those pedestal footings sticking up out in the middle of the screen. As I continue to maneuver around at this altitude and looking back to the north on the right-hand side of the foundation, those large kind of rectangular reinforced sections with those vertical walls is very interesting to see, and we're starting to see a few of those on the left-hand side of the foundation as well. So we'll come back and get a little bit closer view momentarily, but I wanted to continue to fly to the south over the workshops at the bottom of the screen to see what they look like. Also the recycle center, which is coming into the view on the left-hand and center part of the screen. No real changes here as far as getting ready to relocate this, so maybe it'll be here for quite some time. Now, they are adding in this new concrete batch plant. More items have been delivered. These kind of tank-like structures on the trailers next to the concrete truck on the left-hand side of the screen. Some foundations, or at least these concrete slab sections being added in, and some other equipment getting prepared. There's also the conduit going onto the berm on the right-hand side of the screen for power. And as I mentioned, this is because of the amount of construction going on here. They need to have another mobile batch plant to keep up with the demand. The lined pond is really starting to take shape. The liner on the east side is coming along. We'll get a view of that momentarily, but I wanted to show you this outfall channel. All the forms have been removed. The concrete has been poured. They are putting in the forms to extend those perimeter walls to connect into this concrete channel. And of course, the 4 very large steel corrugated pipes that go underneath River Road and drain over towards the Colorado River. As I maneuver around the construction site, this is a nice look at how this is all coming together. Once this wall section is completed, they'll be able to finish the liner all the way over to this side, get rid of those dirt kind of drive paths that are going over the retaining wall, and then they will be able to finish up the liner, which, as you can tell, is being extended even further today. Once this is done, then we'll probably see some water put into the pond. This is a nice look with this lighting of how this is underway, and it does look like there are 2 different layers of that membrane that is being installed. The workshops, once again, with the lighting, a good view of how this appears as we fly along River Road. You can see how it winds off to the upper right. We're going to fly towards the foundation, but before I get there, I wanted to show you how much of the steel has been removed, and it looks like they are in the process of removing even more of it here, and that will extend some of the construction site further to the east, which is underneath where the drone is located. I'm going to zoom in here, stay at a lower altitude, give a kind of a medium altitude horizontal view across the foundation. You can see the geopiers hard at work, especially on that west side of the foundation. Closer to the drone at the bottom are those vertical structures, some of the forms, the pedestal type footings, and additional rebar that is being put in place along with the main footings. I'm almost kind of making a C-type shape all the way along this side of the foundation. More geopiers being stored on the upper center, and more of the rebar cages being fashioned in this yard in the middle of the screen. As I pull away from that one excavation section with that gray material next to the roadway, and that has not changed. Also, the pipes, dirt, and this pavilion at the bottom of the screen as well. Nice shot to the main factory across that foundation. So the progress continues, and it looks like we're going to start seeing more vertical structures on that foundation soon. Now, in the intro, we talked about the battery cathode plant, had a great video from Tesla that gave us some inside views. Much of the equipment that we've been watching over the last several years be delivered and then moved inside and assembled. So I think that was really great. I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with this large amount of dirt and or gravel. A very flat top is emerging on this kind of irregular shape. Usually this is just storage, but it is having a lot of work being done on it to give it its shape. As we pass the megapacks waiting for installation and the cell test lab, you can see the north end of the battery cathode plant, the workshop, and it looks like there's some debris next to that tent-like structure. And I think they've been moving some materials out of the way. As we get to the center section, I'll zoom in. We'll get a great shot of the screw-type piers, the platform for the water tanks. With the workers, this gives you a nice sense of scale. There's also trenching with some of the pipes that will connect into the tanks. And of course, that will connect over to this site, which is going to be where they will be recycling a lot of the water and the vapors that are coming out of the cooling plant. That will help reduce the amount of water needed for the Cortex 2 as it becomes more fully operational. So it's great to see that level of activity. The workshops continue to be very busy. Some more of the materials, although in this fenced off section, it looks like it's cleaned up more. So maybe they're starting to run out of the materials for what they need for the construction. The 30 megapacks between the two plants are looks like they're mostly fully functional. Maybe the second 16 that they just installed need to be finalized as far as connections. On the south end, the water detention pond has a fairly decent shape, but not really much change since the last video. And I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to look like when it is done. As we fly over part 1 of the megapacks, we arrive at part 2. And a nice view of the workshops and how all of this is coming together. The crane is still not extended, so I think they're waiting for more of the megapacks to arrive. And they're also putting in the platforms at the bottom of the screen here in this last section. Most of the screw-type piers are in the place now, and some of the beams that will be put on top of the screw-type piers to support the megapacks are being worked on. I do notice some of the work by the electrical switchyard. We will come back to that momentarily, but first I wanted to proceed up to the north, kind of turn the drone from the west to the north over this land that is being reclaimed at the bottom of the screen. And of course, just to the north of that is the Optimus factory and its foundation. This is a nice look at how it appears this morning. So what I'm going to do is maneuver around over these workshops, go over to Lone Tree Field and head up to the pipe manufacturing plant and show you what that looks like. Over this material staging yard, there is some more steel waiting for its turn to be assembled. But of course, I wanted to show you the pipe manufacturing plant that is set up here. They are making these steel corrugated pipes on site, so it eliminates the need to transport. So they just bring in the coils of steel that you can see at the bottom left, go through the machine, and then they make the pipes to length. And then they get to store them here. And then when they are ready, they will be starting to do trenching to install this around the Optimus factory. As I've mentioned, this is something that they did extensively around the main factory several years ago, and it's part of the water management system to prevent the flooding, especially with all the heavy rains and also the water table that we have throughout this part of Texas. As we pass over the trees and the hills and valleys that remain from the sand and gravel mining operation that used to be here, this is a good look at the factory that is being constructed. Of course, Giga Texas way in the background, and in between is that central support facilities with the die shop, battery cathode, and Cortex 2. On the north end, there is a new workshop at the bottom of the screen, kind of that rounded top on using the containers, and they are continuing to make a lot of progress towards the north perimeter grade beam with the cranes, the steel, and the assembly that is underway. Also, there's a lot of earthwork on this west side as they continue to expand this, dirt section away from the building. And you can see some of the earthwork machines, also some of the water trucks to keep the dust down. Although, as you can tell with the lighting and the dust coming up, it is quite dusty. Interestingly enough, some people don't know this, but my drone does get covered with dust every time I fly. Then you can see why. So I do end up having to clean it periodically because of all the construction. Of course, a lot of this dust also ends up on the roof of many of the structures, and that's why we see that at a higher altitude over the main factory, for example. But here at the Optimus factory, a nice look at the amount of steel that continues to be erected to the north and the south, the decking for the floor and the roofing. And still waiting for the time where we start seeing some of these truss-like beams that are stored here on the ground to be installed. And it looks like they are starting to prepare some of them, so maybe we will see that work here soon. That will be a big departure over the way that the main structure is being built right now. And that will be kind of neat to see how that comes together. Of course, on the south end, plenty of steel items waiting for its turn to be assembled. And then when we get towards the middle and the south end, we do notice that there are significantly different kinds of footings here, different groupings. And one of my viewers, also a YouTube or social media channel, Luca Grigato, who does a lot of work with the Giga castings, looked at this on my previous video, and he thinks that there may be some casting machines put in this part of the site, specifically where we see the clustered group of the footings on the right hand side of the screen. And as I zoom out, you can see that grouping over on the right hand side. And that would be important because they will be using some degree of castings to make body parts for the Optimus robot. And this could be the part of the factory that they are preparing right now. Of course, the footings here are significantly more substantial than we've seen in other parts of the factory. So that's a good look at what is going on with Optimus Factory today. I'm going to fly to the west, follow this channel. This is in the area where we've seen some of the other earthwork. I don't know if they're using this for drainage at the moment or what its purpose is, but you can certainly see where the water is kind of moving its way towards this western border. Another pond on the left, and this is near where we see the landscaping materials section on the right-hand side of the screen, and of course the batch plant that serves a lot of the concrete manufacturing, not only for Giga Texas, but for the region. As I zoom in, we also see that the two base mounts for the steel pipes for the power lines have been completed here. And as I kind of pan the drone to the left, we'll see that more are being constructed in this section. It looks like there may be two here as well. So maybe a total of 4 new of these pipes or these poles being installed onto these bases. And then that will be what they need to be able to connect more of those high tension wires to bring more electricity into the expansion of the electrical switchyard. So nice to finally see this work done, and it'll be also nice to see the segments installed onto those bases and then assembled. So I'm going to fly along Robotic Avenue all the way over back to the south side, and we'll get a good view of the parking lot, some of the trailers, and a nice view of the East Warehouse on Wheels along the way. One thing I noted, and you can see this here at the intersection, is more trailers are being delivered, and these are used for contractor operations and other offices that are temporary in nature for the construction. So that looks like it's going over to the east side. This staging yard with the trailers, containers, and this new structure continues to be very busy. We see some more trenching for electrical conduit extending over to the other trailers, and some additional earthwork there as well. As we fly over the parking garage, Take a look at this staging yard. We do see these large concrete wall panels. Some of them have openings in them. This could very well be the replacement panels for what we'll see momentarily on the east side of the factory as they reconfigure part of the exterior wall and some of the interior. As I zoom in, a nice view of the cooling plant for Cortex 1. Of course, the workshop, some of the wooden crates with blue tops and other materials that have been delivered, and also stacked by the exterior wall. Next to these two silos is the exit point for the Cybercab production line. And we only see two of them parked there. One of them appears to be a new version. The other one is the old wrapped version, but not really a lot of activity coming out of the production line yet. Of course, we have the big delivery event coming up, or at least the launch event for the Cybercabs coming up on the 3rd of September. So we'll see what happens over the next several days. As I continue to fly to the north along the east side, more materials are interspersed all over the apron here that are being installed inside. This is that section that's being reconfigured, and possibly those wall panels that we saw in that south material staging yard could be destined to be going to this location. Might indicate that they're adding in some new receiving doors rather than having that large glass trapezoidal secondary exit that used to be here. Of course, more work by that red and white opening in the wall. As we continue to fly to the north along the east side of the casting and melt center, a good view of the racks with castings all in place, and the recycling center with both of the furnace loading machines now apparently operational. I'll stay at this altitude with the zoom, go over the power lines. We'll look at the racks and also some of the paint stands for bumpers, and also some of the Cybercab bucks that were used as part of the setup for the production line. These are all being stored here, at least for now. I don't know how much longer these are going to be here or how long they will be needed. But of course, this entire lot was reconfigured for this longer term storage, also for many of the Cybertruck castings. A new tent has been erected on the left-hand side of the screen here, where they have some of the castings exiting out of the building. Of course, the plastics manufacturing section here, and where the 4680 is cell portion of the factory is getting reworked inside. Those large pipes have still not been moved in, but of course we've been watching a lot of the ground slab work through that large opening with those plastic doors for some time. So I'm going to reposition the drone higher. We're going to look across the roadway. We resume here on the west side, taking a look at this new clearing that continues to see quite a bit of earthwork. It is definitely becoming rectangular in shape. They are working on leveling the grade throughout this entire section. Now there are some slopes along the eastern border and possibly here next to the Tesla road starting to emerge. There's also some more sloped section here on the right-hand side of the screen. So I don't know exactly what this is going to be or why they're configuring it this way, but it definitely looks like it's a foundation kind of like a clearing that is going to be graded out flat, but it'll be subgrade to the surrounding areas. So anyway, worth watching, and hopefully we'll get some permits or some other information that'll give us some idea of what is being built. As we pass this material staging yard with some of the steel, the transformers, and those ever-present Evapco fans and base units, the section that they put the gravel on recently still empty, so maybe they're waiting for additional equipment to arrive. As we pass the two tents and the staging yard here on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to stay at this altitude. We'll fly past the outbound lot just to get a sense of its activity here today. This is, of course, coming off of a weekend. A lot of transport activity happened over the weekend, so you'll see that many of the vehicles that were loaded up here and filling up the outbound lot on Friday have been moved off site. The materials being stored here continue to have inventory changes. We see some trucks and deliveries here next to the transformers today. Of course, the supercharger workstation, and more materials in that one lot on the left that have been brought in, being unpacked and getting ready to be installed. As I stay above the power line and get to the test track, the Cybercabs are doing some more additional testing in a line. It looks like one proceeds its ahead and then it stops, and then it will continue around the oval. And that one is continuing on the right-hand side of the screen, catching up to some of the other Cybercabs. They're all doing variations of this kind of theme, with one getting ready to go through the inner oval on the straights. And you can see that parked right now in the center right of the screen. I'll first show you the entire track and all of the Cybercabs that are on the track. And now that that one vehicle is in motion, I'm going to kind of lower the altitude, chase it down, and show you what its testing regime looks like, at least from the drone point of view. And also taking advantage of the lighting, which is now coming from the rear part of the drone. And a nice view with the yellow fences. And it looks to me like possibly there is a supervisor, but in the passenger seat. Also, take a look at all these arrows that have been recently painted on that section of the test track. Very interesting. Maybe it's something that the Cybercab software is learning to read and interpret. As we get to the operations center, we can tell that the superchargers still have not been connected, although they are in place. There are a lot less Cybercabs here than we have seen in the recent past, but they are getting ready to send out more onto the track. One of them is headed to the track right now, and the other one is heading away. So with that split of the Cybercabs, I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude, give you a bird's eye view of the track and the activity that is underway, of course, with the operations center and everything else that they're doing to prepare for that Cybercab launch event coming up on the 3rd of September. Nice view of Giga Texas and the east side across the highway. I wanted to bring the drone back down and take a look at this vehicle that is driving autonomously from the factory. Also, all of these bins and trailers that are right underneath the south bridge. They seem to be coming and going, so they're using them mostly as just overflow parking, it seems to me. As we continue to follow along this Model Y, we'll get to the Cyber Tunnel. I'm going to stop the drone, take a photo, and then resume up towards the south part of the end of line and the outbound lot, just to get a sense of what is going on here with vehicles. Now, most of the Cybertrucks on the right-hand side of the screen and those two lanes are all gone now, transported off-site. Here we see some new additions to the Cybercabs here, and then the other ones are covered with a layer of dirt. Shows you that they've been here a long time, and it kind of is what I was mentioning up at the Optimus factory with all the dirt that comes up. It gets on my drone, but it gets on everything else, including vehicles that don't move here very often. Now, there are a lot of Model Y Ls and Ys grouped into that section that we just passed over. The test track is being used with that figure 8 and a few more of the Cybercabs here on the west side of the end of line facility, and coming up here next to the wash rack, but really not a lot. And once again, none of these seem to have that cutout addition on the hatch for the Starlink. So I don't know, again, if that is signifying anything whatsoever. Maybe they're doing field modifications out in wherever the Cybercabs are to put those the Starlinks on for the big event coming up. But I don't know, but none of these seem to have it. And as I maneuver around here, just taking advantage of different lighting and just a grouping of the Cybercabs, this shows you what these appear to be like today. And we did see several trucks picking these up on Friday. And so they are continuing to move them off-site, which is pretty interesting and encouraging when you think about robotaxi fleet additions. Nice grouping of red, white, and silver vehicles here. All of these are getting ready for the direct delivery, and more of them are parked here waiting for their new owners to arrive and then do the pickup event. The mega chargers, still, I have not seen any of the semis at these yet, but with the 4 charging locations, I'm hoping we see some very soon. As we pass the direct delivery center and the north part of the end of line, just a quick look at the sorting lanes. A new Cybertruck is arriving at the moment that I was flying, and some more Model Ys. And finally, as we look across the roadway, a nice view of the American flag, the Texas flag, and the Tesla flag in front of the West Main entrance. So for that will be the end of the video for today. I think we got a pretty good view of most of the site and some of the biggest of the activity that is going on. Of course, construction is dominating the site right now, and since it's early morning Monday, production is starting to ramp back up. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. I hope you found this interesting, and thank you very much for your support. I hope you have a great week. Take care.